So good evening, everyone. I want to welcome everyone back to Luna Nueva Wellness Collective, our ShareAbouts. We could all introduce ourselves. I'm Shakni Holly Kalika Shakni Simatu Shakni Siikitu Tekatu Inuto. I'm Holly Kalika, part of the collective. And I'm going to pass it to the person next to me, Asatu.
Oh, I'm Satu, also a founding member of Luna Nueva. Thank you for being here. And I'm going to pass it to Iyawo. He's down to my left.
Hi, good evening. So wonderful to also be here. What a blessing to be at this ShareAbout with all of my family members. I am Hello, and I am going to pass it to Sabrina.
Hi, I'm Sabrina. I'm a member of the Luna Nueva Wellness Collective, and I'm looking forward to tonight's talk with Mubina and Julia, and I pass it now to Mubina.
Hi, greetings everyone. My name is Mubina. Well, I know that. And I am a youth in the community, invited to join you all, and I'm really happy to be able to be amongst you lovely people. So, yeah.
And who do you pass it to?
Oh, okay. I can see everybody now. I'll pass it to Julia. Julia? Yes.
Hi, I'm Julia. Miss Wesley invited me. Her daughter Isis is one of my best friends. Yeah, so I'm so excited to be here.
And do you want to pass it to someone special that just joined us?
Oh, Grandma. Hi.
Oh my God, Julie, you didn't tell me you was going to be here. What a nice surprise. Good to see everybody. I think I saw some last time I was here, right?
Yes.
Who was here last time? Well, okay, 2, 3.
And also Iyawalu, but she has her baby. We are so happy that you came back, Mama Rose, to join us.
Well, yeah.
I know you work really hard in the community. You know, we wanted to reconnect with different people we've talked to before, just to see where we're at and, you know, how we're feeling and where do we want to go. So as our elder, I don't know if you wanted to start first, you know, since the last time we've talked to you as a group.
Oh, okay. Are any other people coming from the last ones too?
Today it's just us right here. I think because it's also the start of school, and you know, different people have been experiencing different things, and also we've been really busy, quite busy. So we'll probably continue to do check-ins with everyone, have another group one as well. I think after our gathering, we met with some different men. We did different men's, and then we met with the youth. And so we were hoping to, you know, continue to have some intergenerational discussions as well. Right. But I think just with where we're at right now with everything going on, we just wanted to check in with different people to see, you know, how are you doing in the times that we're having right now? Like, what's important to you right now? You know, what things should we look towards, you know, in the future, or even just in the now? I guess that's kind of a question, but it's a question for all of us. It's kind of a question for all of us, you know. Yeah, I don't know. We have been talking about different issues in the community, but I think we're at a point where, like, there's so much going on. We wanted to check in with everyone and say, well, what's the most important for you right now? What should we really be focused on right now as a community? And so that's where we're starting, at least for tonight. Yeah.
Well, we do have our job cut out, meaning that we can see how we fought to have voting rights and to have it pretty much being stripped away, you know, as far as like going out and making sure people are voting, you know, don't get scared. And uh, you know, if whatever it takes to get them to the polling place, that's the only way that we're going to be able to see a change. And there's all kind of obstacles. You can see how, you know, if you listen to, I don't listen to the news, but I get it from people. But you know, going so far as to have the postal service, you know, withdrawn or pulled back, so that they can be able to, people won't get a chance to just walk down the street and drop their ballots in. And then who knows what the lines are going to be like, because now we're looking at less polling places. You won't be able to probably be in your same neighborhood. Depends on, you know, how many people they have voting and how many people are going to be turnout. And then on top of that, you know, people are scared to go into these places to vote and even help out in these places. So it's even like even compounded. But that's not to say, you know, that no matter how tough the situation is, um, there is always a way out. But I think you have to continue to not get distracted by the news and get distracted by, you know, negativity that you see around you, because there's always going to be people who are like, it's no use, you know, my vote is not going to count. uh, don't let that, and then they probably start counting stuff and saying that he's winning. So that's another one of the things you have to watch out for. And even if they have won, I'm going there and make my vote count. Personally, like I said before, I worked real hard. There was a time when we didn't even have that, couldn't even get near a poll. And so we do have that privilege, and they're trying to do it again. So work in your community, you know, reach out to maybe one or two people, older person that needs to be, you know, if it's taking her ballot someplace to be dropped off, or taking her to the polling place. You know, we just got to rally. Uh, and that's the only way, you know, that we're going to be able to fight what we're seeing here. Because if you don't, we can pretty much see it's going to be the same, even worse than that. Because this is how stuff gets started. You know, Hitler was one of those people that if it wasn't checked, it just continued to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And pretty soon, I'm pretty sure, you know, if it continues, I wouldn't be surprised if the Ku Klux Klan won't be out, you know, parading up and down the streets. We've seen it before. And that's another scare tactics, you know, and just not back down. So I'm just saying, um, don't get discouraged. And the whatever is going to be happening to us in this future, it's got to be resting on the young people at this point, because we were like the young people in my time, you know, 15 and 16. We hear that Martin Luther King came and he, you know, led the march, but there was a lot of people before Martin Luther King came. There was people in our school, young people decided in the school, let's get the movement going. We don't want to live like this no more. And by the time the grassroots of us people, you know, getting together in the community and working on our own plan, didn't even know, we didn't know other people was out there to help us. But because they saw us really making a move, that's when other people join in. So even though you won, one person can make a change in the whole world. And we can see through history, people who have been won, and it starts out with one idea. You know, if you got one that you can go with in order to make this thing work so that we can move forward, yeah, you could be that one. You're that one. We're counting on you. I am. I don't want to, you know, go out like this. So you guys got it in you. You just don't know it. And you don't think so. The movements that you're making right now are going to be the ones that are going to be like years from now when we talk about this. And I hope they keep the history. And if you don't, you keep some. Because when we did what we did, we had no idea. In fact, we didn't even think about it. But the impact of what we did, like sent ripples throughout the whole world. And it sent, made people able to in every city in the United States, be able to have the privilege that we was fighting for. So just like you are that one person. Don't, wait for somebody else to do it. You do it.
I love that. Don't wait for anyone else to do it. You do it. On that note, does anyone want to respond to anything that Auntie Mama Rose is sharing with us? What is you're the one. So yeah. Anyone else want to speak to that? The vote.
Is it Asatsu? Asatsu? Can't hear you.
Oh, oh, well, I'm just, you always inspire me. So I was typing notes in the chat as you were speaking, and the power of one. I just, one. And I think what comes up for me when you said that, it's each one teach one. So even though, you might, just to echo that, even though you might feel, oh, I'm only 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, but your voice, though, especially if you turn 18 and you're able to voice that. I love what you said, make your voice count, make your vote count, make it mean something, make your actions, make your voice mean something. And we are definitely counting on the youth. So I love that, you're the cheerleader for our young people. And thank you, Mama Rose. Always so inspiring. Always so inspiring.
So anybody, what are you doing with yourselves these days in ways of trying to make this movement go forward? What are you planning on doing, or what are you doing?
I can go. Can you hear me? Everybody can hear me?
Okay.
Okay. You can't hear me? Okay. Oh, you can? Oh, okay. I was gonna say that thank you. I really did appreciate your words, and I take them with me as I am among the fellow youth. I'm 19 now. I can vote, so definitely. This is a pretty pertinent time, and remembering the like remembering the main purpose and the main I don't want to say this, just like the direction in which we're trying to go, and really trying to envision something larger, even though it's so complex right now and there's so many things we want to address and really see change. Definitely honoring the efforts of those who came before us in this vote. And I appreciated that reminder, because I feel like even as there is so much change you want to see, and sometimes we're just like, nah, we don't want to vote because it's not the exact person we want, and all this and that, and I get it. But I think honoring this vote is one step, and I think, I'm honored to be able to carry that right and carry that legacy on. And I think another thing, anything I'm doing to be a part of this, I think I'm mainly in a space of learning, educating myself on my history and what, like reading. I'm trying to stay committed to reading books and focusing on my education and the just discovering my purpose and the things, because I think we all have like an individual role to play in this movement, and as long as you're living and being in your best self, you have something to offer to some place in the future. So, yeah, that's what I'm doing.
I love Mama Rose. I love that. I love what you had said about driving an elder to the polls, because that's something that we talk about a lot in our household. The whole thing around the mailing, and I'm pretty lucky because the polling booth is I could drop it off. It's pretty close, So that's not a problem for me. I know I've been kind of following a little bit of, I think it's Gray Palast, I think is his name. And he's been doing studies around voting for quite a while and how they steal the vote by taking people's names off the rolls. So that actually happened to me before. Yeah, and so what they've done is like they look at different people that have either different names that are kind of ethnic and or people that have very common names, that maybe it's like I don't know, like a Mark with a common name. Okay, Lopez, something like that, or Marco Lopez, but the last name is so common and they might see that there are many of those, or let's say Jose or Julio Lopez, because that's such a common name, and that person can even be in the same, many of those guys in the same state or in different states, that they've been pulling these people off the rolls. I think another thing that we could do is also to talk to our family members and our friends, just our circles, like double check to see that you're actually still on the rolls. Make sure that you're there, because there's a lot of ways that they take the names off. And I had heard that on the radio a few years back, and that he kept saying, check to see your name's there. And then I checked and I found out that my name was off. Wow. So now and so that's one of the things that we could do. He did an interview with someone recently. I'll put that in the, I'll put his website in the chat as well. It's okay. Her name is Latasha Brown. And the interview that she did with him on August the 28th was that they're constantly skimming the votes. And she is the co-founder of Black Voters Matter.
Wow.
Yeah, so I'll put his, I don't know what her website is, but let me put that in the chat as well, because there are other people that are doing a lot of things out there. Let me get her name too as well. Because I think, I don't know how new that particular organization is, the co-founder of Black Voters Matter. It looks like she's out of ACL. So that's in Georgia. So I think what I had heard too is like in a lot of the southern states, they're they've removed the mailboxes even. So I love that idea. Like I was telling someone that, if I could find a group that's donating to have buses take bus loads of voters to the polls. I would donate to an organization that did that in another state, somewhere where, it's a rural area. But I have to still continue to look. So your question was, what are we doing? So I've been doing a lot of, like Mubin, a lot of like research, whether it's online or reading or actually listening to radio programs. And just learning. Like I tell the women here in Luna Nueva, I'm constantly listening to the Karen Hunter show. She's a radio person, but she's also a professor, and she does a lot of, on Saturdays, she does what they call Saturday College with Dr. Greg Carr. It's one of my favorite ones to listen to. And I also listen to one, I'm gonna pass this to Sabrina. I know Sabrina listens to different things too. I'm going to be quiet so other people can talk. But yeah, that's kind of what I've been doing a little bit. A lot of study and networking, kind of connecting with different people, making sure that I connect with different people. Like, where are you at? What are you doing? Do you care about what's happening in the Black community? I live in Santa Rosa, and, because it's, it's not very diverse up here. I'm coming from the Bay. It's really not that diverse. And so I'm like, okay, well, what is this community like? And I still need to speak my truth up here. And I've been doing that. So it's a different scene, but I got to do it. I'm going to pass this to someone else.
I don't know if Julia has a moment, but I'll go if she wants to go after me. I have to echo what Holly's saying, reading more, all those things that I haven't had time to do because I work a lot. I've just been reading and learning more, being more knowledgeable about my own history. And a friend of mine told me the other day, I said I was going to visit my grandmother, and he says, "Are you videotaping? Are you taping? Are you asking questions?" And I said, "What do you mean? About, like, he's saying regular things." And I said, "Oh, but I know all about that." He goes, "But you know about that. What
Mm-hmm.
about your children? What about your children's children? Now's the time to document things. We can video things, video experiences, talks that we have with our elders while they're still alive, oral history. You can document that now." And I was like, whoa, that was profound to me when he said that, because I take it for granted that my 85-year-old grandmas are still alive, and I know a lot of stories, but to put them on tape and have them come from their voice and in their own way to say it. So that's been my new thing. Yeah, I need to reach out and get more stories, more of our own stories, of our own family stories. I've also, now that we have more of a voice, and it's our time in the Black Lives Matter platform, even in my own agency, people are coming from the public. We're getting more Black people speaking up during public comment during our board meetings. It's wonderful to see.
Wow.
It's also giving the Black staff and employees a platform to speak up as well and support and give more support, even in naming regional parks, giving it a name. Has anyone ever been named by a Black person? Like, things are being discussed that have never been discussed before.
Yes.
So as far as, just being aware and keeping the momentum, and using this platform to not stay silent anymore and to start speaking up more. So I'm gonna pass it on to Julia. I think I see her in there behind her grandma.
What are you doing to work towards goal, helping the votes to get out and encouraging people to go to the poll and stuff like that? Okay.
I feel like I haven't been doing too much. Sadly, I have been paying attention to what's going on and just trying to, stay current with what's happening with voting and things like that. But I work a lot. I'm a full-time student at SF State, so I've been kind of occupied. But I do need to do better with that. But I think it's important, especially this year with what's going on, to, participate with this election, especially. And yeah, especially with how my grandma was saying about, what she went through and how important it is to vote. So, yeah.
No, we don't let nobody's votes go wasted in my family. No, nobody is not gonna go to that poll or go someplace and vote. So that's kind of been ingrained in them. And I think, we're going to be an example for the rest of the people coming up. So I think if they see you with seeing the importance of how important this is, then they're going to want to do it. And this is the only time our voice could be heard. Otherwise, we're just uh, nothing is going to happen. Nothing. We just continue to, go through the same thing over and over again. And you're right. I think that history is really something that's we should really, latch on to, because I would just have taken this time during COVID to reflect on my history, because I'm not young either, and been writing the story about my mother. And it really had me to go back and, talk to my brother. I have a couple of uncles that are still around. Rest of the generations is just about gone. And there's some things I wished I had known. And the stuff that I'm really finding out about is just I wished I could have had this discussion with them. So you do feel like they're going to be around forever, but it's just they don't talk about stuff unless you bring it up. And then once they get going, it's just there's no stopping, And it's also a good time, you know, to during this time to get closer to your relatives. This would bring you close. In fact, with me reaching out to brothers, you know, they usually talk about, I don't do it that often, but it's just like we have something, another a conversation that we can have that we can all grow from, rather than feeding on the news and what happened to this killing over here and the killing over that. We are on to something that was just like, it touches me, it touches you. And how much do you know? And I share what I know. It's just really mind boggling. Uh, and what I'm finding out from doing this is that I don't think I've had the appreciation for my mother, but to go back and put myself in her shoes and what she was, you know, like to, she had 9 kids living and 12 total, and how she was able to not have welfare, working like making $12 a day, $12 a week, $12 a week. And that was a step up from 50 cents, 50 cents. I believe when she was working on the plantation, it was giving her 50 cents a day. But I mean, that wasn't a pay. It was in a house someplace working for a big boss. But anyway, it just really made, she would have been doing something else if she had opportunity, wanting to go to school and she couldn't. Uh, but she, you know, showed me how if you're determined, you can be able to go through with your life. And she ended up buying a house too, by the way, and the house she raised the whole family in. We all have our different, you know, sets of circumstances, but I think what we pick up from her is the strength, no matter what your life has dealt you, that you can be able to go on. And I have a lot of that drive in me. I'm realizing now. But I think you'll probably find your grandparents in you, your mom in you, and a lot of times we see things in other people that we don't like. That's you. It'll help you understand yourself better too. There's history, you know, how important history is. You know, every time you go someplace, that's the first thing they want to know. You go to the doctor, you know, what's your history? It's important. You made up some good stuff. And I was just, you know, thinking today, I was thinking about writing about, you know, what it would have been like to be one of those people to have been snatched up from their homeland and just brought someplace and having their dignity stripped away from them. But they swallowed their dignity. I mean, they took whatever it took and lost their dignity so that we can have dignity at this time in our lives. So they, you know, like Rosa Parks, you know, it said that she actually sat down so other people could stand up. We can find that in our families. We all are made of that. We all have that because we come from the same stock, you know, the same people that was brought over here and stripped and denied, and we are just another step up from it. But, you know, we just have to make sure that we honor those people and continue to go forward, not backwards.
Yes, I agree with all of what you have said, Mama Rose, and I so appreciate your words. Um, in terms of the voting, I've always been skeptical, like, oh my gosh, but I recently watched it was a documentary about the 2016 election and how all these women were voted into the Senate and the grassroots involvement that got them there, as well as the election that was in Georgia for Stacey Abrams,
Mm-hmm.
and how basically, you know, stole that.
Mm-hmm.
They stole that vote from her. But what really touched me about that was the importance of voting and how everyone was so organized. I mean, Stacey had all walks of life organizing to get her into office and to vote. And then she did an interview, Oprah did an interview with Stacey Abrams. And Oprah was like, if you don't vote, you are, it's like you're renouncing the legacy that all of your ancestors who came before you did, and all the work that they did for you to get this right to vote, and the importance of voting. And so where I am with it now is I'm really thinking, should I volunteer to be a poll worker, or finding an organization that is going to educate people of how to fill out the forms, and where to go vote. And yes, just finding an organization to help getting people to vote, and knowing where they should go which poll are you supposed to be going to, since they're going to try to do everything in their power to make it difficult for us to cast our vote.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I'm learning too that everybody in San Francisco, I don't know if it's a whole California, but everybody's going to be getting a ballot, whether no matter what way that you're voting, you are going to be getting. You have that option, you know, to take whatever way you can to get there. You can take it there. You can mail it in. You can go online. You can also follow check it out online to see if they got it. And they got deadlines that you got to make sure you don't wait until the last minute, because then it doesn't count. So they got all kinds of ways that are like, waiting to put people in traps. You didn't get yours in time, or who knows how long they held it out. They have places to go down at the city hall that's going to be open during the whole time, that you can actually go and bring it, hand deliver your ballot. Um, so I think just being really mindful of this, and helping people decide before the last minute, and it's too late.
Right. And it's also important that people know how to fill out the ballot correctly.
Mm.
Because they had also said something about you have to sign it. Your signature has to match the signature that you used when you registered to vote, or they will toss it out. And I was like, what? So there's all these little nuances that we need to be aware of in filling out the ballot correctly so it gets counted.
Well, see, that's one of those marble games. When we were, trying to vote, they had this big old bowl, a fish bowl of marbles. And this is the way you get to qualify for voting. So you had to count up all the marbles, pick an estimate of how many marbles are in there. If you didn't get it right, you don't get to vote. This is one of those things. Another one of those things, a fish bowl again. But
Oh, I'm sorry to interrupt. Go ahead.
no, we just have to know who we're dealing with.
Right.
And they do anything to continue to enslave people.
And I think that's exactly why it's important for us to vote, because the slavery needs to end. We need economic justice as well. That's one of the other things that I've been like kind of looking into in terms of, and following different people, like about financial security for families. I know Sabrina knows a lot about that, but I'm also curious about what people are thinking about dreams for their future. How, the world we live in is very difficult, but what are our dreams? What do we want our world to look like? What are we moving towards? Do we want to keep everything the way it is? What? And I'm just curious about that, whether, what some of our young people could speak to that. What are your dreams? You're young. What do you see for yourself and your families for the future, or for the community?
Think.
That's a great question, Holly. That's a heavy one. I think.
Or I could just plant the seed. I know you're in school, which is fabulous.
Yes,
But you
I
might
hope.
have dreams, but they might have dreams. I'm just curious.
Uh, I think right now, I'm still figuring out a lot of my dreams and hopes, but I'm grateful that I do have access to education, and I just hope to, I don't know, whatever I do, create space for myself, for others, for other girls like me, and continue to build and elevate our communities and have an equitable place and space in the world where people can pursue their dreams and hopes and their purpose and feel human and be treated like humans. So that's what I can think of right now. Yeah.
Thank you. Anyone else? Anyone else want to share their dreams? Or if not sharing your dreams, maybe your closing thoughts for tonight. Um, so we could like close out the night, but still be positive as we think about, trying to keep our democracy here, trying to keep things good for our people. Any other closing thoughts or
Well,
things you'd like to share?
I think that if you don't have a dream, then you can't expect much. It's just like you're at the mercy of whatever happens, it happens. But I think you're in the driver's seat. And if you, it's a good thing that you heard that if you don't have a dream, it's not like that's a bad thing. This is a good thing because now you can have that time. Look at your life, what it is that you want to achieve in your life. And then once you do that, it's just like you got a destination. You're not waiting for just something to happen. And that's a big difference between knowing where you're going and just getting out there in the ocean and just start floating. So it's like find out what it is that turns you. It don't have to be like the greatest job, with the highest salary. In fact, a lot of times it's not that. Find out where your heart is, and and no matter what they tell you, a lot of people, get talked out of their dreams. It's not enough money, or is all kind of reasons why. You're always going to find people tell you why not. But once you make your mind up what it is that you want to do, and I think number one, you have to be thinking too, not only just for yourself, how can you make this world a better place through you being here? What are you going to contribute? It's not all about giving, but what are you going to give in order to receive? Because most of the times when you put it out, you're going to get it back. You know, um, if it's dealing with patients, you have patients. You never, your money does not ever pay for what you put out, and that's not what it's all about. Is that when you leave, whatever you're doing at the end of the day, your heart is satisfied. You're right with yourself, and no money would amount to anything of that. And that's the thing I think you really need to be thinking about, rather than, working a 9 to 5 or working whatever it is, and then at the end of the day, it's just like you drain. They've taken your soul. You sold yourself away. So leave some for yourself. Do something that you really enjoy, and it's just like it's a joy to do it. And keep people in mind. Keep always looking out for the other person, because that person you don't know where your fortune is gonna come from too. You have no
Thank you.
regrets. No regrets. You know, uh, from this day on, from this moment on, no matter what your past was, from this moment on, you can make a difference. And you'll probably be the person that's gonna, be in the White House next, in the next few years. Who knows? Whoever knew that, Kamala would be one there, and she's coming from Oakland. We got our mayor here in the city. They can be any place. You have what it takes to do anything you want to do. You just have to set your heart. You have to be clear about what you want, though.
Thank you. I'll take that with me. I really appreciate that.
So again, I think that is just our closing thoughts. Again, we're so honored to have both you, Mama Rose, and your beautiful granddaughter that's there with you. I don't know if she has some closing thoughts as well to share with us. I'm just so inspired right now. I just feel like that was wonderful.
I can't top grandma.
You are so lucky to have your grandma.
No, we all are special, and we all have different gifts that we bring to the world. You just got to find out what your gift is and shine. Be that light around you.
So, I don't know if, just for myself, I want to thank everyone that's on tonight. It's been so inspirational. I think everyone will be shining, shining, shining. I look forward to our conversation again sometime in the future and wish you all well. I don't know if my sisters want to have any closing words, but from my heart, and I send love and protection and prayers to all of you. Thank you so much for joining. I don't know if my sisters want to say anything before we leave out for tonight.
I want to say thank you, Mama Rose. Truly inspiring, wise words. I understand why Julia was speechless. She's like, Grandma just said it. Drop the mic. I'm sorry. Thank you. Thank you, Julia. And thank you, Mubina, for coming and sharing with us this evening. It was beautiful and very inspiring. Thank you.
Thank you. If there's any way that I can, push these young people forward, I'm down. I'll be right behind you.
Oh, thank you, Mama Rose. I think you did. I think Sabrina said it, mic drop. And just I want to celebrate the youth that you lift up. So Julia and Mumbina, thank you. Thank you. Your voices are so important. We love you. We honor you. We support you. Thank you, Queen Mother Rose, for sharing your wisdom. Yes. I know you're so humble, but I say that because we have to honor our elders now. We have to honor while you're in the flesh.
That's true.
We have to, and so that's, and I say that from the bottom of my heart. So we honor you, and we honor our youth, these up and coming queens. So thank you once again.
All right. Thank you so much for inviting me. I enjoyed you.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, I agree with Asante. Thank you, Queen Mother Mama Rose. I wish you was my grandma.
Oh, I am. I'm
I,
all your
I so
grandmas.
appreciate everyone. Oh, yay! I appreciate everyone taking time to join us tonight and sharing your thoughts. It's just, yes, I'm so inspired.
All right. Cool. Well, thank you. Thank you so much.
On that note, I wish you all a wonderful evening. We'll see you soon.
All
Good
right.
night.
Okay.
Good night.
Yeah.